Okay, so how does a local drama series, one that's based on a viral story, get rejected by its own creative team and then go on to become an explosive international sensation? Let's get into it, because the story behind the Indonesian series Layangan Putus is more than just good TV. It's a masterclass in taking calculated risks and, well, engineering emotion.
And look, we're not talking about just a little bit of success here. The show ended up trending in over 25 countries. I mean, just think about that for a second. From Indonesia all the way across the globe, millions of people were totally hooked, frustrated, and just captivated by the exact same story. This wasn't just a hit show. It was a real, genuine global phenomenon. So what was the secret sauce here? Was it just luck? Did they just grab a popular story and run with it? Or was there something a lot more deliberate going on behind the scenes? As we're about to see, the answer is all in a series of crazy decisions from one person who saw something that absolutely no one else did.
All right, let's start at the very beginning. The journey here from just a rejected idea to a massive pop culture event is honestly almost as traumatic as what you see on screen.
It's pretty wild to think this show almost never happened. It all started with a viral internet story, right? But when producer Manoj Punjabi brought the idea to his own creative team, they shot it down. They basically told him, nope, don't do it. But Punjabi, he had this gut feeling. He went against his entire team, gave it the green light himself, and put his own bet on the table. And that bet brings us right to the mastermind himself, Manoj Punjabi, and what we're calling his crazy vision. This guy wasn't just cutting the checks. He was the creative architect who personally molded this story into the powerhouse it became.
One analysis of the company's strategy just nails it. He saw potential that no one else realized. This wasn't just him disagreeing with his team. It was about him seeing this whole emotional world that nobody else was even looking at. And he just knew he could dig in and find gold.
Right, so how'd he do it? This is where it gets really clever. We're talking about engineering emotion. This was never about just telling a story. It was about using these small, super deliberate choices to get a very, very specific and powerful reaction from you, the viewer.
He basically laid these emotional traps. And get this, these weren't even in the original story. First, he added this simple but totally devastating detail. The husband comes home with his shirt on inside out. Just this simple, silent image that screams he's cheating. Second, and this was so important, he told the writers that the husband could never confess, no matter what. The goal? To drive the audience absolutely nuts with frustration. And did it work? Oh yeah. A media analysis confirmed that the whole strategy succeeded in provoking the audience's anger and making the series go massively viral. See, the anger people felt wasn't some accident. It was the whole point. It was the fuel for the fire. People got so mad at the characters they just had to go online and talk about it.
But as brilliant as those little traps were, Punjabi's biggest, craziest move was still to come. This is what we're calling the Cappadocia gamble. This was the single biggest risk he took, a decision that would end up defining the entire series.
And here's the crazy part. This wasn't something they decided on in a meeting months before filming. Nope. He made this call mid-production, when the stakes are at their absolute highest, and turning back is pretty much impossible.
Okay, so get this. They've already shot 7 episodes. The train has left the station, and Farooq Punjabi just hits the brakes on everything. Why? Because he was absolutely convinced that a scene his own team had cut, this scene about the wife's dream to go to Cappadocia, was the emotional core of the entire story. He forced a complete rewrite to work that dream back in. You can imagine the chaos, right? A total logistical nightmare. But out of all that mess, an iconic moment was born.
It's my dream. That one line, delivered with all that raw heartbreak by the wife, Kinan, in a huge confrontation, that became the moment of the show. It was shared, it was turned into memes, and it was felt by millions. And it literally only exists because of that huge, risky, mid-production gamble.
So, after all that risk, what was the payoff? Well, this is where it gets epic. Those crazy decisions didn't just make a good show. They created a full-on pop culture tsunami.
And you can literally see the business impact right here. On the streaming platform WeTV,
Before the show, downloads were just chugging along. After the show dropped, they saw what's called a lonjakan in Indonesia, just a massive, massive surge. This one show, by itself, created an explosion in downloads and, even more importantly, in paying subscribers.
But the cultural impact? That was even bigger. It wasn't just trending in 25 countries. You had high-profile government officials talking about it on social media. That "It's My Dream" scene became a meme for everything. And the show, it didn't just entertain, it dug itself deep into the cultural conversation and cemented its spot in television history.
So in the end, Layangan Putus, it wasn't an accident, it wasn't a fluke, it was a global phenomenon born from one producer's kind of crazy, totally counterintuitive vision and his guts to bet it all on raw emotion. Which kind of makes you wonder, right? What crazy idea out there, maybe one that someone has already told you is a bad idea, is just one bold move away from becoming the next big thing?